First up on this episode, the last quest of the three released in July of 2002 is Fight Arena, where we have to go and save a man and a boy from a dog. This is another one of the Majorat quests. It introduces General Khazard, who was briefly mentioned in Tree Gnome Village as the instigator of random wars, and now forcing people to fight in a arena for his amusement. Good usage of his nigh immortality. We break into the place by pretending to be one of his guards, because that, of course, always works. Your guards have two identifiable pieces of equipment, and anyone who's wearing those two equipment can walk through the door without any other identification. We find our kid, gives us some information about the stereotypical fat lazy guard who holds the keys. We confirm that the fat lazy guard is indeed fat and lazy and likes to drink. And we promise to get Geralt some booze. Just a little bit. It's not a little bit, we get him a very strong drink. He drinks the very strong drink after a little bit of peer pressure from us. And, well, that's his day. He's fine. But he's out like a light, and we can just kind of quietly steal his keys. It's fine. With this, we can save the kid, and then go to save the dad, who is currently in the fight arena and is facing off against an ogre, which is a very not fair fight in any stretch of the imagination, as the ogre is an ogre, and our buddy Justin here has the combat ability of a small mammal. So we have to save him, kill the ogre, and effectively take his place, where we have to go and fight because General Khazard is very happy about it. First up, we have this lovely scorpion here, and it's dead. Not unexpected, but it's a good fight. And next round is Bouncer, the aforementioned doggo, who is a very good boy, and dead. Khazard is understandably upset at the fact that we killed his dog, but is, at the very least, a Majorat of his word, and will let the boy and this kid go. But wants to fight us, but we're not gonna do that. No, we're just gonna leave, and then we're gonna finish the quest. And there we go. That's it. Next up, we have Haziel Colt, which is another one of the Majorat introduction quests. This one, unsurprisingly, introduces Haziel, who was dead for a while. But it starts off with Cyril Carnelian, who is reporting that some armor has been stolen and wants someone to go find it. We end up going to this little outcropping in the sewers, down a hole somewhere nearby. And we find out that, A, we are an idiot and will defend some guy that we don't know to another guy we don't know, just completely blindly, and that the Carnelians are not nearly as nice as they pretend to be, which is par for the course of anything Majorat related, really. Generally, nobody's good in these storylines. But we have the opportunity here to either continue doing the job that we were originally hired to do, or say screw it and go do a different job. In this case, join a cult. Joining a cult sounds fun, and I generally tend to take the side of Majorat anyway, because I like them. So we join the cult, have to poison some stew, and then we go back and find out that we killed a dog. So that feels bad. We didn't want to kill the doggo, but we want to kill the shithead little kid. But we do some shenanigans, reroute some water flow, and then we go and talk to the big boss cult guy, who gives us another task, which is to retrieve a magic spell that has been hidden in the Carnelian's house, which we do so with very little difficulty, return back, and raise their leader from the dead. He's not actually dead, he's just taken a nap. But Azil gets up from his nap and is relatively thankful and gives us a stack of cash. And points out that we are a friend to the Majorat, which we generally are. We'll get to later Majorat quests, and we tend to be fairly positive towards them. But that's the quest. Nice, straightforward quest. Here we have the next quest, which is Sheep Herder. It is the technically first quest in the Elf quest line, although it's not really counted in it, as it's not needed for any of the other quests. But we are hired to go and deal with some diseased sheep by wearing some rather form-fitting and athleisure-esque protective gear that we paid 100 gold for. And then we have to go get some poison feed and then a cattle prod to poke said sheep in the butt. Which we go and do with great relish and great annoyance, as the sheep tend to not go where you want them to go. Nope. Nope. There we go. One sheep. No, bad. Get. Two sheep. Three sheep. And the last one. Get. And that's it. We have obtained 4 sheep, and now we shall burn some random bones that we happen to obtain. It's just completely random bones. They're not sheep bones. They're just random bones. The sheep are fine. And then we go and get a reward. So, money and quest points. Next up is the first proper quest in the Elf series, Plague City. We start this off by talking to Edmund here, as he is having a small problem, and that small problem is his daughter has gone missing in the quarantine East Ardoin. So we have to go and get into the city, find her, and retrieve her. We get a gas mask so that we're protected and disguised. Snag a picture, throw a bunch of water in his garden, and dig a hole. And end up in the sewer system. With the help of Edmund, we can pull the grate off of the wall so we can get up through the other side. So after crawling through the sewers, we go and talk to Jethic, who points us towards some other residents of East Ardoyne, who then give us a bit more useful information, as in she's been kind of bundled into a condemned building on the other side of town, and we have to figure out how to get in here. But the mourners, being dicks, won't let us explore the condemned building because they hate fun. So we have to go and get permission from someone to do that. The guy who's technically in charge of the city is very hungover, and in exchange for making him not hungover, he will give us a fancy piece of paper that will let us get into that house. And the mourners can't really do anything about it. So we go in to find a key, and we have found Elena, who is now free, happy to go back home. We finish up by talking to Edmund, and we get the best reward, which is the ability to teleport to Ardoyne without having to click levers in Edgeville or pay gold. And along with this comes the Ardoyne lodestone unlock, which is exceptionally nice to have. Next up, number 36 on our list is Sea Slug, which is starting off another fairly long-running quest line. This one, a slight favorite of mine, because, as I said before, I like when Lovecraftian elements are put into games. And, well, this is peak Lovecraftian in every way, shape, and form. We basically have to go find, again, a kid and a dad, this time on a fishing platform. So we fix up this guy's boat. We'll give him the stuff to fix up his boat. And then we head over to the platform to see what's going on. And we see horrors from under the sea in the form of these little slugs. And a very scared chef. So, get some information on what's going on in this situation. Go find Kenneth. He's hiding behind some boxes. He's not going anywhere until we find his dad. So, we gotta go do that. Fortunately, that's not very hard because his dad is on a small island that is within sight of the fishing platform. So, this is better than an old school version where Intrana is like within a short swim away. Right, at the very least here you can get the sense of, yeah, this is supposed to not be super close to anything, and the closest thing is the fishing platform, which obviously he wouldn't want to swim to, but you have Karamja, you have Port Sarum kind of further away. Besides, the people of Gielinor can't swim. So, with the power of science, we light a torch, also known as the bane of every school child who tried to do this quest back in, well, 2002. And with the power of fire, we can prevent slugs from being slugs. Rescue Kenneth by kicking a hole in the wall and giving him a crane, and then lowering him down to the boat. And then we make our grand escape by casually walking away, and that's it. That's the quest. Fishing XP, and that's basically it. The fishing platform's not useful for anything except for the quests. Coming out on September 24th of 2002 is Wonderful Quest, which is typically the first quest that anyone does on a new account. And it's the 37th for us. But it starts out of yet another save the shithead kid because the shithead kid needs help. And then it deviates from that, thankfully. But we basically go out back this lady's house and go down a very dangerous river. Oh look, we found the shithead kid. He's right here. And he tells us that, oh, he's looking for treasure. We better not look for the treasure. But, no. We're not a little kid, so we're able to go and actually find the treasure. So, first up is getting this pebble, which is under the Tree Gnome Village. Held by, well, that guy over there, who's stuck in a cage. Open up the gate, talk to Golry here, who will show up several times actually. Collection of random junk is very plot relevant, but we find the pebble by basically looking at our feet. We go into a tomb, get necklaces. I grab 2 of them and then grab some ashes. And now we're off to do the treasure. Basically, you have to throw runes on all of these pillars to raise the platform. If you don't do things in the exact correct order, well, not exact correct order, but relatively correct order, you get flushed. Runes on the pedestal, necklace on the statue of Galariel. Boop. And then ashes in urn. And that's the quest. The second quest in the Elf series is Biohazard, where we continue along with determining the source and severity of this plague from Elena. So, turns out that some of her equipment got confiscated, so we have to get back into East Dordogne. However, they've kind of wised up to going through the sewers, so we have to go in over the wall. So talk to the pigeon guy here, get some food and some pigeons to basically distract the guards so that they don't see us hopping over the wall. So we run by, throw some feet on there, release the cage, emulate a John Woo movie, and then hop on over. Now, the thing we have to get is in the Mourner hideout, and we can't go in there, so we're just going to give them food poisoning. A, because Mourners, and B, because we have a sneaky plan. And our sneaky plan is to pretend to be a doctor and just walk in the front door as a doctor who's wearing a doctor shirt and nothing else that would be doctory. But they let us in because they're all very, very sick with food poisoning, and then we go and proceed to beat the ever-loving crap out of a mourner for a key. A lot of these older quests you have to use key on door, which is slightly annoying, but it's in here. It's in one of these crates. No. Yes? Ah, that one. So yeah, we bring it back, she does a bunch of tests and gives us some useful clue for later, but the main takeaway from this is there's no plague? Question mark? So she gives us a sample and a bunch of stuff to go and give to her mentor in Varrock. But we have to stop off and get some touch paper because she's run out. So we head over to Remington, talk to the chemist, very carefully not mention the fact that we're carrying a potential biohazard sample with us. And then because there's apparently a wildfire rumor of biohazard plague stuff being spread around, we have to smuggle stuff in. So these three idiots are our vehicle for smuggling. So they all have a particular quirk to themselves, and the three liquids have a particular value to it. So Da Vinci here is an artist, so we want to give him the thing that has no artistic value. Hops is a drunk, so we want to give him the thing that smells like it is completely and utterly inedible. In this case, sulfuric bromine, which smells like probably 8 categories of ass. And then Chansey is a gambler, so we give him something that is not worth anything. In this case, honey. So we then have to walk all the way to Varrock. To take a long time, and then we get our stuff back. But yes, Hops has enough sense to not drink the thing that smells like farts. And then we go and talk to Goiter. He essentially does the same thing that Elena did, except with additional science confidence. And then we get the supreme bombshell that nothing happened, and there's no plague. There's no plague! Which is now just an even bigger conspiracy. So we tell Elena this. She says, oh, you need to bring this to the king, so we just kind of barge into his bedroom. And just, like, slap him in the face with, like, a test report of just like, there's no plague, what are you doing? It's like, and then we find out that it's actually to protect the citizens of West Ardoin from a great dark evil coming from the underground pass, which we will be getting to. It's not nearly as bad in RS3 as is in Old School. The agility obstacles are not as terrible, and the presence of regeneration means that you can heal up. But yeah, quest done. Next up is Jungle Potion, which is one of those quests which technically is very short, but actually is very long because you have to run all over the place. So I'm going to blast through this extremely quickly. As a note, some of these herbs you need others for later quests, so it's generally a good idea to look up those ahead of time to grab them while you're here. But starting off, search this random vine for snakeweed. You end up needing a total of 3 of them. So this is the one that is awful because it takes forever to find. Then we go through the worst Slayer monster in the game to find Arvoil, which I'm completely butchering the name of. I hate harpy bug swarms. They're constantly aggressive. You need to use a shield slot item to fight them, and they don't drop anything good. So next up is searching this fire pit. Then searching this random rock, and then we end up getting Rogue's Purse underground where all the Jokers are. in which this one you do need 2 of. And that's it. That's the quest. Nice and simple. But get some Herblore XP. Next up is the last quest 2002, which is the Grand Tree. We get introduced to King Narnode here, who, unlike his old school version, has a rather nice beard covering his chin. And he explains that the tree is dying and doesn't know why. So he sends us off to go talk to Hazelmere, who I always imagine Hazelmere to be like really snooty because he only speaks Old Gnome to us. But we have to basically figure out what he's saying off of what he writes on some notes and then translate with a book. We'll find out in a later quest why I'm less of a fan of Hazelmere and how he acts. But we bring it back. We translate it as hopefully best we can. Basically have to choose a lot of things. You can kind of guess what it's supposed to be, but the short version of this is that a guy showed up to Hazelmere with Narnode's seal asking for Daconia rocks. Daconia rocks are the thing to inhibit the tree's growth and kill bits of it in case it kind of gets too grand. And this is apparently a problem. So we go and talk to Glue over here, who is suspiciously concerned. And there's a lot of back and forth in this quest, where we're basically going and talking to various NPCs and then going and bringing more information. And the takeaway from this is Charlie here has been framed for this, claims that Glue has hired him to get the rocks. We go and find evidence of this because Glue is about as subtle as a brick, and how unrepentantly racist he is. The king doesn't believe us because the king is kind of dumb, and then shenanigans occur. In this case, we get arrested. But after that, we go to the shipyard, and essentially by talking to a good deal of people, we find out that Glue ordered all of these ships with little gnome-sized wheels to invade the rest of Yielinor. And he's going to pay for it by cutting the Grand Tree. We bring all of this evidence back to Narnode, and he still doesn't believe us, because of course, why not? So we have to go and break into Glue's house, take his key from his girlfriend, who just straight up gives it to us, honestly. Like, we didn't even ask, like, we didn't make up any story, we just kind of talked to her, and it's just like, oh, hey, yeah, you've been working with my boyfriend. Here, have his key, he left it here. It's like, okay, that was easy. But we get invasion plans, which should be enough evidence. But no, there's not enough goddamn evidence. So we get some sticks that were found. We spell out the old gnome word for open, because if you're going to passcode a secret trapdoor at the top of your house with needing a word, you should have the word be open, because that is definitely secure. In which then we go down into the caves underneath the Grand Tree, where we were before at the start of the quest. Confront Glue. Fight a demon. Kill the demon. Glue runs away like a little witch through the wall, as gnomes do. And then, finally, Narnode believes us. Kind of. He still doesn't. But we have to go and find the last remaining stone, which is... This part of the quest is awful because you have to click every single route effectively because it's in one of these. You don't know which one. You have no indication of which one you've clicked. Oldschool is a quest plugin which will mark which ones you've clicked, but we eventually find it and bring it back, and that's the quest. Yay. Overall, I actually do quite like this quest, even though I'm complained the entire time. But that's 2002 done. Yeah, that's the episode. It took a while to come out because I was very busy. And I was not particularly happy with a lot of my footage, so I needed to figure out what to do with it. But that's it. Bye-bye. Go home.